Hello, YouTube. Hello. Hey to everybody. Man, like I told y'all before that I still have a lot of videos that I can bring. So that being said, it's like some videos I still battle with myself on whether I want to talk about it to use it as motivation or inspiration or use it to just show people that they're not alone. But obviously, like I say, when I bring a topic or an issue to my channel, I bring it because either I know people that's went through it, I've seen it, like just seen the situation, or I myself either is experiencing or went through it myself. So this topic right here, like, I don't know how many times I always say it's like it's getting kind of redundant. Like, I'm from Baltimore. So I've noticed a lot in Baltimore that there are a lot of, number one, pedophiles. There are a lot of people that don't care of ways to do things sexually. Like, it's so much, I feel like it's a lot of sexual immortality up there that is really kind of disturbing, if you ask me. And to be honest, that's one of the reasons that I left. One of the reasons, not the whole totality of it, but that's one of the reasons that I left Baltimore, was because it's just so much stuff that goes on sexually up there, and you have to be so protective of your children up there because so many people will try to come after your children in a sexual manner. So the title of this video is called Watch Your Friends Around Your Children. Now, I'm sure everybody should know that. Everybody should know you should be careful of who you having around your children, because like I said, you can look at somebody and you really couldn't tell that they are a pedophile. You really couldn't tell that this guy right here would actually have sex with your 15-year-old daughter. Or you couldn't tell that this guy right here would have sex with your 5-year-old daughter. So it's like growing up in Baltimore, like my dad always had a lot of friends. He always just was like the party guy. He always a party guy, always well known, had a lot of friends. And to be honest, I wouldn't even call them his friends, because a lot of his friends was casing out his daughters. And my dad has a lot of us. My dad has, I don't really know if everybody is his, but I believe most of us is his. And I know I'm his because I got this dude face all day, every day. Like, I look just like this dude. So I believe to say my dad got like 18 or 20 of us. Like, it's about 18, 20 kids that my father have. And most of them do look like him. Like, most of them come out with looking like him. I mean, some don't look like him, but of course some look like the mothers. But regardless of the fact, from what we know, my dad has 20 of us. So fertility runs in our family. Like, for like having children and having a bunch of them, it runs in our family deep. Like, my family members, including myself, we get pregnant so easy. You can literally just blow on one of us, or the guys can really just drop a piece of sperm on somebody pregnant. Like, my dad didn't stop having his last child until he's like 65. 65 was when he had his last child. So, like I said, he had all them friends that he thought was friends, and a couple friends he had to actually beat them up because they was trying to go after my sister. And then another friend he had, at that time I was trying to learn how to get my driver's license. So I didn't really have nobody that took the time out with me to show me how to drive, or show me how to get my driver's license, because I had kids. So I'm like, Dad, I can't keep catching the bus, because in Maryland we have a bus system, the MTA. So I can't keep catching the bus. It's too much to carry a stroller on the bus. You got the stroller in one hand, got your baby in one hand. That's too much. So I said, I need to get my driver's license. So, I mean, everything that I went for and tried for, I don't know what I'm doing, but I'm going to figure it out. So he had this one friend, and he was like, well, I'll show you how to drive, and I'll even let you use my car to drive. But when you hear the word but, it's some crazy stuff that's coming behind the word but. I'll show you how to drive, but you got to sit here and watch me jack off. And I think I was like 15 going on 16, like getting close. Like you can get your permit, I believe, when you close to 16 and get your driver's license when you get about 16. So I'm 15 years old, and I think his friend had to be probably all close to 50 in his 40s. So he's like, I'll help you get your driver's license, but you got to watch me jerk off in order to do it. And I think I found out after that he was actually paying some of my other sisters for sex. So long and behold, y'all probably like, well, did you do it? I actually did. Because I didn't like, I don't know. It's something weird to where people that been molested or people that been sexually abused or that's been in that type of atmosphere, like most people would judge it to say, well, why you didn't fight back? Why you didn't call the police? Why? But my thing is, especially with children, kids that mind is not, first of all, not even all the way formed. So that should be one of the main reasons that you should protect, especially your daughters and your children, because they still learn, like their mind is still forming. So they don't know how to make meaningful decisions or conscious decisions that can save their life or keep them out of harm's way. So, like I said, yeah, I watched him actually, do what he did. Because I really wanted to get my driver's license and nobody helped me. So I said, man, I don't want to do it. But I need to get my permit. I need somebody to show me how to do this so I can get my car. So he did what he did, jacked his meat. And then he showed me how to drive and this and that. And my dad had no clue that his friend was sitting there jacking off in front of his 15-year-old daughter. And I just kind of told him recently, because it's like, when you a victim of molestation or rape or just something of that nature, you feel really ashamed to tell somebody. And so like I said, because you see how I just said, it seems like people ask why you didn't do this. You must have wanted. No, it ain't that. It's just sometimes you don't feel liberated to say, you don't feel liberated to not, I don't know, like you just don't feel liberated, or I don't know, you just feel really trapped, or you feel kind of forced. You feel like, okay, well, if I tell somebody, because a lot of the perpetrators will say, well, if you tell somebody, I'll make sure that they don't, like they intimidate children or people or women or things like that. So, like I said, so many guys out here, like some of the way that a lot of these guys think is very sickening. And I feel like if you did not have a lot of sickening thoughts that go in a lot of guys' head, first of all, sex trafficking wouldn't be. If you had enough guys that knew how to think as a really real man should, we would not have sex trafficking. Because if you had a man that stood for something and he stood to say, I don't care how grown this little girl look, little girl, you get out my face, boy, I'm not touching you. But I've realized that a lot of these guys prefer a young girl. If they could get away with it, if a lot of these guys could get away with screwing a teenage girl, they would. If a lot of guys could get away with screwing a teenage girl and not get jail time or get their ass whooped by real men, they would. They would. So like I said, just looking at somebody's outer appearance, you could never tell that that person is a pedophile or that person would even just mess with you. I don't even care if the daughter is grown. Like if you my homeboy or you my friend, I don't care if my daughter 25. Why are you messing with my daughter? I'm going to kill you. Like, I'm going to kill you. But yeah, be careful, man. Like, it's like so many people always feel like they have to have an entourage, or they always feel like they got to have a whole lot of no good nobodies around them just so they not feel lonely. Like, lonely, I feel like, is the number one reason why a lot of people go through nonsense, or a lot of people accept things they shouldn't accept, or a lot of people just deal with and be in so much mess. Because nobody wants to be alone, and that's normal. Like, as human beings, we were meant to mingle and talk and be affectionate and just mingle. Like, we were meant to have our energies around each other. But so much of these demons, so much of the evil nature is surfacing so much that the minds of your fellow human brother, you don't know what kind of mind this person got. You don't know how sick in the head this person is. You just don't know. And half the time, unless you're really good at looking it up on a computer to see where your registered sex offenders are, you don't even know who's a registered sex offender. You don't even know who, like your friend could be sitting in your face and you could have a registered sex offender sitting right next to you. You don't know what he's done. You don't know if this dude like child pornography. You don't know what's going on in his motherfucking head. And here you got a little 8-year-old that's around. You don't know if he's sitting here looking at your 8-year-old. Like I used to live in the west side of Baltimore, right? And it wasn't really like, it's like in Baltimore, right? You have the city and you have the county. Like you would think the city is a lot worse because the city is more fast paced, whereas the county is more suburban and it's more slower. So it's more murder, it's more robbery, like it's more crime and more of a violent way going on in the city. But in the county, it's more sex crimes going on in the county. So I feel like if my mom, like she was trying to do the best she could by taking us out of the city and moving us to the county. But as soon as she took us out the city and moved to the county, that's when things went totally left field for me, because that's when, first of all these pedophiles was in the area, to where one of the young boys, because we lived in an apartment complex, and we lived on the lower floor, and he lived on the second floor. And this nigga used to rape me all the damn time. And to be honest, I didn't even know it was rape, because I would tell this guy no, and he would say, your no means yes. Your no means yes. So I'm thinking like, damn, do my no mean yes? Do I really want? Like, I almost thought that my no did mean yes. So this dude would actually, he would actually beat me up in front of his friends. And at that time, I was 13, and he was like 15, 16. So he would actually sling me around, be punching me in the face in front of his friends. Because I'm guessing he thought that if he beat me up in front of his friends, that would make him look quote unquote cool. Because a lot of boys in that neighborhood, they didn't respect little girls around there. They was just trying to figure out how many little girls they could screw. And they either calling girls bees, this, that, and the third. So a lot of those little boys in that neighborhood didn't have no respect. But my first son's father, he's as deadbeat as he is, this guy used to take my stuff against my will. And then also too, he used to put his hands on me too. But at that time, by me being so young, I took the fighting part just as we wrestling. So I'm like, okay, well, we wrestling. I'm so used to wrestling with my brothers. So we wrestling. And then he forcing himself on me and saying like that my no means yes. So I'm like, okay, whatever. So like I said, things didn't start going left field until my mom moved us out of the city into the county. And I realized, in the city, we used to go to playgrounds. It was always something to do. You had your recreational centers. They had little rec parties at the parks and all that stuff. Most of the little kids was more worrying about, playing and basketball and all that stuff. But in the county, it really wasn't no resources out in the county. It really wasn't nothing to do out in the county. So a lot of people had nothing but idle time. And I still have, my peers, friends of my peers in that area. And there was this one little girl that I used to hang with. Like I said, I was 13, and I think she was 11. She was 11 years old, and she had a mother that was in a wheelchair. And they used to go to church, and sometimes I would go to church with them. And the mother in the wheelchair was actually dating a deacon. The mother in the wheelchair was dating a deacon. So the deacon was always at their house. So I always used to go to her house, and at that time we were so cool I could just walk in the house. So I walked in the house, and I said I'm looking for her, and her room was kind of straight in the back of the apartment. So I walked straight in the back of the apartment to her room, and her door was closed. So I said, damn, okay, knock, knock, knock. Hey, Demetria, you coming out to play? She opened the door with just a towel around her, naked, just a towel around her. And, I'm peeking in there, and long and behold, this fat, black, 50-something-year-old deacon laid on the back of the bed like this. And he ain't had no fucking clothes on. He had no goddamn clothes on, dude. He had no clothes on. She said, I can't come outside right now. I'm busy. I said, you busy? I said, All right, I see you later. And I hurried up and got out of the apartment. So, of course, she closed the door and went back. And come to find out, she told me that he was paying her to do that. Like, he was paying her for sex. And all along, the mother had no clue that this deacon boyfriend of hers was screwing her 11-year-old daughter. It's crazy. It's crazy. And that same deacon guy, he was actually trying to get other kids in the neighborhood, because that same deacon guy, he used to chase me and my sisters around the neighborhood. And then like my kid's father, the one I said used to force himself on me and, beat me up and stuff. He used to tell me that his uncles used to rape him, because he was actually adopted by his grandmother because his mother was cracked out. So his grandmother had to end up taking care of him and his brothers. And he used to tell me that every night, because the grandmother had her 2 sons living with her, and plus the grandkids. So he used to tell me that every night, they would actually barge in his room and they would tag team him. They would actually rape him. So I'm guessing that's probably the psychology, mental part of why he was putting his hands on me and forcing himself on me too. So it's really sad. And then the same uncles that did that to him, they was terrorizing the neighborhood trying to get other kids. So it's like me and my sisters, when we lived in the county, we had to run from that deacon nasty dude, and we had to run from those brothers that lived in that apartment. It was so many pedophiles, man. And like I said in the last video, how I said I could be walking down the street and guys would be honking their horn. A lot of those guys want to mess with a young girl. So I'm hurrying up trying to walk, because there's so much kidnapping in Baltimore of young girls for that reason alone. So not even just be mindful of your friends, be mindful of the boyfriend you have around your kids. And it's sad to say, even be mindful of the parents, because there's a lot of parents that's known to molest their children. Like my mom, she was actually molested by her father, to where my mom was adopted. So it's just so much stuff, and it's kind of sickening and saddening that the demons in this world is having that way with people's minds, to where it caused people to do so much inhumane stuff. And that's why, like I said, like I told y'all, I'm surprised I even like guys at all. I'm surprised I'm not gay. I'm surprised I even want a relationship from half the shit I've seen. I'm surprised that I'm even strong enough to even still be here standing with a sane mind from all the shit I've seen. I'm just surprised that if I do get a man, that I'm still kind of loving and respectful towards him from everything I've seen. That's why I said, don't sit here and just judge the cover of my book before you get a chance to read it, because you don't know why half the people do the shit they do. You don't know why half the people act the way they act. You just don't know. And sometimes it's like, I'm free with myself. I'm comfortable with my stories. And now that I know my stories is helping other people, I don't mind to talk about it now. But a lot of people is not there yet to where they're going to talk about their testimony. And a lot of people don't owe nobody the right to tell their business. So that's why I said, before you just assume your judgment or pass your little funky judgment on somebody, stop that. Because you don't know who going through what. You don't know why people do what they do. A lot of people battling with stuff. They battling with being molested. They battling with being raped. They battling with being neglected. They battling with being abandoned. They battling with being unloved. People battling. People are mentally battling. We battling. That's why you got to do your part as a human being that does have the right mind. You do have a heart, and you do have compassion. You are a man of God. You are a woman of God. Do your part to bring love back in this world. Because I feel like that is the problem today. The problem is lack of love. The problem is lack of compassion. That's the problem. If we could bring just those two main simple things back, you know how much this world would change if everybody could bring that to the table innocently, without any kind of impurities or perversion in their mind. But I just thought I'd talk about that. I'm actually about to get my eyebrows microbladed. It's something where it's supposed to give you a permanent arch in your eyebrows. So I'm about to see how that work out. Y'all know I'm always trying to be beautified, honey. I'm trying to be beautified. I'm trying to be beautified, honey. But yeah, protect our kids, man. Don't be that parent that's molesting your children, or be that grown-ass man that's doing statutory rape, fucking with that teenage girl, knowing you too old, fucking 50-some years old, fucking with a 16-year-old, fucking 30 years old, fucking with a 14-year-old, you sick bastard. Hope your dick fall off. But all right, guys, you guys have a lovely day, and protect our children. Our children is our next generation. Time is the essence. I'm making better time of it. Talking about taboo topics that I'm sure most people wouldn't even dare to go talk about. All right, guys. Deuces.